Thank you, everybody, for coming to the Aaron Torres Podcast YouTube page. I do have one quick favor before we get to the video that you came here for, and that is very simply this. You see that little red subscribe button below this video? Go ahead, smash that subscribe button. It really does help me. It really does help this channel grow and my audience grow. So go ahead and hit that red subscribe button. And now, here is the video that you came here for. All right, everybody, I am back. Good to be back. Good to be back. I do want to continue the conversation on a topic that I have talked about quite a bit here on the Aaron Torres Sports Podcast in recent weeks, and that is college basketball's transfer portal. Good news for those of you who are a little bit uncertain or tired of me talking about it. Well, we're finally starting to get some closure. May 1st was the deadline, so we're now talking about, as I record over 2 full weeks ago, or about 2 full weeks ago, I should say, that players had to enter the transfer portal to be eligible for next season, which means that really the last 2 weeks there have been no real new players entering the portal and a lot of players that are now starting to make commitments. Now, we have some players that are kind of on the fence, still testing the NBA draft waters, Patrick Baldwin, Kenneth Lofton, Matthew Mayer, whatever. But we also have some guys that can actually impact college basketball next year that are in the portal that are starting to now make their college decisions. One of those players, Ricky Council, 6'6" wing, who spent the last 2 seasons at Wichita State. Well, on Friday, after a long, drawn-out recruiting process, which we'll talk about in a minute, Ricky Council did make his college transfer decision, and drumroll please. Ricky Council is about to be an Arkansas Razorback. That's right, Woo Pig Suey. Eric Musselman does it again, another marquee player out of the portal for Arkansas. And so I want to get into it, I want to discuss, I want to conversate, because it is a very interesting piece that I think is going to help Arkansas not only this year, but for actually a couple years to come. So first of all, as I said, kind of a long, interesting recruiting process. Ricky Council, once he officially entered the portal, and by the way, what happened at Wichita State this year was just wild, where they basically didn't have an NIL program, and so all their players entered the portal after the season saying, I need to go get myself some NIL money somewhere. AD gets fired. It's just chaos at Wichita State right now, but that's neither here nor there. Ricky Council enters the portal, and what was interesting was he visited Arkansas well over a week ago at this point, and there was thoughts that he could commit as much as a week ago. Arkansas had to figure out some scholarship stuff. Jackson Robinson entered the portal earlier this week. I don't know exactly how his eligibility will work. He's a second-time transfer. He entered after the May 1st deadline. But that is kind of the reality of the situation there. Jackson Robinson enters the portal, and so until he entered the portal, there really wasn't a scholarship to give Ricky Council. Either way, Ricky Council, Jackson Robinson enters the portal, and Ricky Council commits to the Hogs. And I just think this is another really nice piece on what is shaping up to be a really, really, really nice roster next year. For those of you who haven't seen Ricky Council, what I will just say, point blank, end of story, whatever. Ricky Council, there are a lot of great athletes in college basketball. I don't know that there is a single better one in college basketball than Ricky Council. There might be guys that are just as athletic. There ain't that many that are more athletic than him. As a matter of fact, if you just search his name on Twitter, our Torres on the Hogs page, our Arkansas-specific Twitter page, make sure you're following if you're not, they posted a video of him basically doing a windmill dunk almost from the free throw line. That is the kind of high-level athlete that he is. And he's a high-level athlete that's a really good basketball player. Averaged 12 points per game this year, 31% shooting from the three-point line. And so when I look at him, what I see is an elite-level athlete that is still learning how to play basketball. That sounds like an insult, but he's not. And talking to some NBA people throughout the year, they said, we think this guy's an NBA prospect. Now, he's not ready to declare this year being 2022. He obviously didn't. But he could get there some point if he puts it all together. You're talking about an NBA caliber wing in terms of his size, certainly an NBA caliber wing in terms of his athleticism. And what I would say about Ricky Council, he is a guy that very much started to put it together late in the season at Wichita State. Up and down year for the Shockers in general, but I mean, just look at his last couple games. First of all, had 31 points against Central Florida in late January. Put up 20 against SMU, which was basically a fringe tournament team all year in early February. Puts up 17 in back-to-back games, including against Houston, a team that we all know made the Elite Eight. 20 points in the regular season finale against East Carolina. 19 points in the AAC Conference Tournament. So you talk about a kid that was already putting it together at Wichita State last year, now joining an already loaded Arkansas team. And so to me, this kid fits because he is just the perfect profile of what Coach Musselman and his staff want to build. Big, athletic, switchable, 1 through 5, can kind of defend whatever they need to do. This kid kind of fits that to a T. Think about the guys that they have in this program next year. And I've gone through the roster so many times, but to kind of re-mention it, Nick Smith, big wing, potential number 1 pick in next year's NBA draft. He probably won't go number 1. The foreign kid, Victor, whatever his name is, will be number 1. But Nick Smith Jr. was the number 1 ranked player in this high school class, according to 24/7 Sports, NBA caliber player. Anthony Black, big 6'7" point guard. Jordan Walsh, 6'7", 6'8" wing, crazy athletic, super talented, whatever. Devo Davis coming off the bench. You got a couple other guys that have come to the program through the portal, whether it is Jalen Graham, whether it is Trevon Brazile, who I know that a lot of people across college basketball liked. This is now all of a sudden a team that you add Ricky Council. Super athletic. You can play really big. If you want to play some of the Mitchell twins who obviously committed, you can play smaller with Trevon Brazile at the 5. You could do all sorts of things with this roster. And what I just see is a team that has NBA size, NBA length, NBA athleticism at all 5 positions next year, starting with the point guard all the way up. And that doesn't even include some of the guys that are coming off the bench, including some of those highly rated prospects. So Ricky Council, to me, perfectly fits in with this program. And I do think what is especially intriguing about this specific commitment is it. Like I said, I think he's an NBA caliber player. I don't know that it happens next year, though. And so, to me, this is why this is so fascinating, and this is the new world of the portal that I think we all have to readjust our brains to. And myself included, by the way. I'm not here to criticize anybody else. But I think we look at the portal as this one-stop shop. You're on the highway, you're driving, across country, you got to pick up snacks for the road. You got to get it now, and you got to get it this second. The portal is not just a place where you get a player that's going to contribute immediately next year and then move on to the next thing, the next level, graduate, go pro, whatever. Sometimes the portal is a place where you get a guy that's going to be in your program for 2-3 years, and that's what I believe Ricky Council is and what he can be for this program, a player that can develop within the program, not just this year, but maybe take on a starring role next year. Maybe he averaged 12 at Wichita last year. Maybe he averages 12 at Arkansas this year, and then 2 years from now, he's a J.D. Notae, all-SEC type player. I'm not saying that will happen, and I'm not saying it can't happen this year. I'm just saying I think it's a very interesting concept to think. This isn't just a one-year commitment necessarily, and I think we need to recalibrate all of that when it comes to transfer portal stuff. Finally, what I would say about Ricky Council, it is worth noting, with Jackson Robinson now in the portal, with Ricky Council committed, Arkansas is by technicality 1 roster spot over the scholarship limit. I do think this means that Jalen Williams probably isn't back next year. Now, in Jalen Williams' defense, Jalen Williams is, for me, by the way, I think everybody knows, but Jalen Williams, all-SEC big man, blah, 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 really good, really key piece to these last 2 Elite 8 teams. But Jalen Williams, I think, has an NBA future, and I think as he gets deeper into this process, there is a strong possibility that is a kid that could eventually play his way into the first round if he's not there already. Was invited to the NBA Combine, where I believe that he will have immediate success and really prove why he is an NBA player. So to me, this strikes me as a move that reflects that they do not expect to have Jalen Williams back. I think taking 4 low-post players, Jalen Graham, the Mitchell twins, and Trevon Brazile says that as well. But Arkansas, with another big commitment, as Ricky Council, 12 points per game at Wichita State, is officially a Razorback. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe to the Aaron Torres Podcast YouTube channel. Also, make sure you're listening to the Aaron Torres Podcast 3 days a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Plenty of reaction there as well.